Welcome back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful, simple, elegant basque corset gown with puff sleeves. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I'll encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. So you'll be using your bra cup size. So I am working with bust 35 inches and I'm using bra cup size 38. So here you can see I darted my corset cup. So you can see I darted it from top to bottom. So the first thing you are going to do is to place it on top of the paper, as you can see right there at the edge of your paper, and then you take your under bust measurement. So this bra cup will just serve as the under bust. So I placed my under bust and made a mark. Next is the waistline. So from that under bust, I'll mark my waistline measurement, and then I'll count 5 inches and mark my back line. So to get a straight line, I'm going to place my tape on another part and mark my under bust, my waistline, and my back line. Then I'm going to highlight my line, so we'll start up the drafting. It's actually a very simple corset anyway, and the drafting is not difficult. So since we are using a bra cup for this, it makes it easier for us. So here is my under bust, my waistline, and the back line. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take my bust bridge at 5 inches. So this is normal for corsets, the bust bridge. So now I'm going to place my corset cup on the bust bridge, and I'm going to highlight the corset shape. So after marking the shape, the next thing we are going to do is to take our bust circumference. So but I'll first of all mark my seam allowance of 5 inches inwards, so it will be easy for us to cut out that part. So I'm going to take from the center front my bust circumference divided by 4, my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'll rule a straight line and connect to the basque. So we are going to cut it out right now. So you can see how I cut it out. So I'm going to highlight my line again for the back piece. So I'm highlighting the chest line and the waistline only because there is no backs at the back. And I'm marking 1 inch, which is my zipper allowance. So I'm going to place the center front of the paper to the center back for the back. So we can just get the back shape. So now I will contour my zipper line by 1 inch. So I'll just contour it to the chest line. I'll cut off that part. Then I'm going to replace that 1 inch on this side and also connect to the chest line. So that part is the replacement. So we are done. Next is to just cut out what we have on the back corset. So like I said, it's very easy and simple. So here is my replacement. Don't forget to add your zipper replacement. So our drafting is ready. The patterns are ready right now. So this is the back and this is the front. So this is what we need to cut for our fabric. So I'm making use of 4 yards of fabric. You can also make use of 3.5 yards for these two, depending on your size. So this is my fabric. I want to cut out the gathered part of the flay first. So here is the length of the flay of the fabric at 60 inches. So I'll just, this is the yardage part, just make a bias with it, just a triangle. So this fabric comes, is a coupon silk fabric. So it comes at length of 60 inches. So I try to make a triangle with it. So wherever it touches that point, we are going to mark the length, the down piece of this dress. So I'm trying to draw this dress so you see what we are going to do. So from the shoulder we have 17 inches already, and the whole length is 47 inches. So 47 minus 17 will give us 30 inches. So the length of our flay is 30 inches. So I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance, which is 31 inches. So from that down part right now, we are going to take the down part of the triangle. You take your length of your flay. So mine is 31 inches, so I'll just stop at 31 inches. So from that 31 inches, I'm going to also mark to the tip of the flay. So here I have about 30 inches. So I'll now make my radius at 30 inches. Okay, you know this has gathers, that's why you are taking it this way. So I'll now take 30 inches as my radius. So there is no calculation for this because there are much gathers to this dress. So if you go about it this way, take the length, and now whatever you have will be your radius. Then you have a perfect result. So this is it. So that is the radius of this flay. So from the radius, we are now going to take the 31 inches, which is the length of the flay. So I'll just measure 31 inches at each point, just like we do when we are cutting 180 degrees. That is exactly what I'm doing right here. So I just go ahead and cut 31 inches like that. I'm just marking it. You know how we'll mark it anyway. So I'll make sure they are equal from the radius. So after marking that line, the next thing is to cut out what we have. So I'm cutting out the radius right now. So the radius is even enough to make the bodies. So I'll also cut the down piece. So I cut only the front flay. So what I have here is the front flay. So the folded part, I'm going to make a notch to it. That is the center front. So I'm going to lay my fabric the same way I lay the front for the back. I'll also make a triangle with it. That is what I'm doing exactly. So you are going to use the straight edge of the other part. If you are using 3.5 yards, after cutting on the one straight edge, you bring the other straight edge to form this triangle effectively. Then next, I'm going to place the center front on the open side, and I'll start from the down piece of it. So just go ahead and create 1 inch for your zipper on that part. So I created my 1 inch and placed my center front on the zipper allowance. So this is the open edge of the front, is meeting the part that is folded. So I just place it on it, and then I'm going to cut the radius and the length. So I'm cutting everything exactly after I'm done arranging it. So I'll just go ahead and highlight it like that. So after highlighting, I will now cut the chalk lines. So there is a little excess of 1 inch on that side, but that does not matter. Since there is gathers to it, it does not affect anything at all. So I just cross-check my length of the back flay to be sure it is equal before I cut. So I just go ahead and cut like that. So after cutting, I'm going to open up that side, okay, because it's going to have a zipper at the center back. So this is it, and I brought my lining. My lining, I cut it straight, but I folded it at 25 inches length and 25 inches width on fold. So the width is 25 inches on fold. When you open it, you have 50 inches. That is the part we are going to attach to the back waistline. Then the length I use 25 inches. So I just go ahead and cut out my lining right now. So what I'm trying to do is just to fold it very well. So after folding it right now, the next I'm going to do is to cut out the lining. So I just go ahead and cut it out. The length is 25 inches like I earlier explained. So I'm marking the 25 inches to be sure it is equal before I cut. So I'm going to cut it just a square, as you can see. So this part is just a square, it's not flayed, but we are going to also gather it into the waistline for the lining. So it's time to cut out the bra cup cover. So I want to cover my cup right now. So I'm taking the measurement of 5.5. So I folded my fabric just like a circle. So here I'll place it on fold again and get the midpoint of it. Then I'll go in by 1.5 inch and connect. So I'm going to use this to cover my bra cup, as you can see. So I'll place my fabric again because I need 8 pieces of it, but for the fabric I need 4 and the lining I need 4 as well. So I'll just take the shape, as you can see, and make a notch at the midpoint. So I'm done cutting out my cups, and this is what I got after cutting out my cups. So the next thing I'm going to do is to stitch at 1/2 inch. So the part I'm chalking right now is where I'm going to stitch, both for lining and for fabric. So after stitching, I trim off the excess allowances so it laps on the cup very well. So I'll bring in my cup right now, and I'm going to place my cup. So you can place it triangularly or vertically. So secure with your pins and stitch round. So this is what I got after I secured with my pin. So I'm trimming 0.5 inch all around, as you can see. So after trimming, I'm going to place the lining on top of it, making sure I align them with my pins. The lines I have on the joining should match the one on front, and I stitch at 1/2 inch. After stitching at 1/2 inch, I trimmed off and then cover my cup. Of course, you know how to go about this part anyway. So I'm going to secure with my pins very well, and I'm going to follow the stitches and stitch. So my cup is ready. I'll just go ahead and trim it off. So I'm going to prepare. So I cut the dart. That's what I'm showing. Before I did that, I have to reduce that dart on the bra cup. So now I'm going to add my seam allowances. I added 1/2 inch, but on the side I added 1 inch. So I'll just go ahead and cut out the body of this dress. So this is what we got. So I made a notch on the seam line. On the side is 1 inch. So next is to join them together. So you can join any which way you want or you like to join, but I will join this way for lining and for fabric. So I hasted my fabric before I did that, and I placed the lining and the fabric together. So I'm going to secure them with my pins and then stitch the upper layers and top stitch. So make sure you secure and match them well before you stitch. So the part I'm chalking is 0.5 inch, which I'm going to use to stitch the upper piece of this dress. So after stitching, I top stitch and gave it a good press. So this is what I have. So the next is to sew my cup into it. So I'm going to sew my cup the way I showed you now, and this is what the inside looks like. I'm going to serge the inside. So I will also advise you put a boning if you don't want this dress to sag. It does not have a bra wire. It needs a boning inside the lining with your regling boning and your nylon boning. Of course, you know how to go about it, so it stands very well at that part. So I bring back the down piece of this dress right now. I'm going to join the sides of the front flay and the back flay. So I'll go over to the machine and join them, so it will be one full flay for me. So after joining it, I've already gathered it, so I'm going to match the back line. So make sure you make a notch at the center front, so when you are marking the back line, it will be easy for you. So I'm going to secure with my pin on the basque, and on the sides you secure with your pin on the side seams, and also secure with your pins on the other side. So you can also decide to join the lining and the fabric together. Okay, I mean the lining of the backs and the fabric of the backs together, and sew the gathered flay together. That is if you want. You can do it separately too if you want. So this is what I got after joining. Now I'm going to join the lining. So the lining does not have much gathers anyway, but I'm going to use the same process to match it up too. So I'll now arrange my gathers and pin at the center front like that. Then this one does not have a side stitch because it's cut straight, so I just match it at the beginning and sew in. So after sewing, this is what I got for the lining. So the next thing we are going to do right away is to join the zipper. So I just go and sew my zip right there right now. So just go and sew your zip. Of course, you know how to sew your zip, so I'm going to do that off camera. So here is my zip. You can see it's looking neat and clean. So after sewing the zip, we want to go over to the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I just cut on fold 25 inches and the length is 18 inches. So I have 2 pieces of it. So you can make it 20 inches on fold too, so that when you open it, you have 40 inches. So I just create the elastic casing for up and for down. So this is it. I'm going to insert my elastic. So for the elastic on the top, I use 10 inches, but for that on the down, I use 7 inches. So I'm going to insert the 10 inches, which is for the up, and the 7 inches, which will be for the down. So I'll go ahead and insert it accordingly. So after inserting the elastic, this is what I got for up and down. So I'm going to put them together and stitch on the side. You just stitch half an inch on the side. So after stitching half an inch on the side, I'll bring in the part that should be on top, which is the 10 inches elastic, and I'm going to stitch it on the side of the corset. So but I prefer to make a mark of 2.5 inches on the front, and I'll turn the side and also make 2.5 inches at the back. So that will serve as a guide for you, so that by the time you pick up the corset on the seam, the balloon sleeve on the seam line, you pin it on the seam line to the seam line and stretch it and sew. You stretch and sew at that 2.5 inches. So you can see what we have. What a beautiful corset dress with back waistline. So this is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial. So please kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bell. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.